Hello, NuPIC. This is the NuPIC Development Progress Review for December 12th. Good to be here. So the main thing I want to talk about today is releasing and where we are at on the track towards a 0.1 release. So that's what I am going to focus on. If there are other topics, we can probably bring them up at the end, but I'd really like to talk about what it's going to take to get releases. And now let's define that, I guess, just so we're all on the same page. What I'm expecting, and maybe this is not the right expectation, but what I want is to be able to do this in an automated way so that we have an easy command to call from the source tree, or whether we built or not, but somewhere in NuPIC, so anyone can create a binary release package. I'm assuming that we'll be able to use setup tools for this, so we can use like the bdist command to set up tools to create a binary package, which would do that for whatever platform we were on when we call that command. So I've been doing that in sort of a limited hacky fashion to create packages for the NuPIC regression repository and the NuPIC research repository, but it was really not done well. It was just a half measure to get what we needed at the time. So we want something we can package up and install as a generic fashion as we can. Those packages only worked if they were built and installed on the same flavor of Linux with the same things installed. That's not exactly what we want. So, so I put on the board behind me, for those of you watching out here that, oops, hit a button. For a 0.1 release, I'm hoping we can do Python setup.py bdist, and that'll produce some distributable binaries for current platforms. So then our Travis builds, when they are tagged with a release, they can call this command and get something that they can upload to S3 that other people can eventually download themselves and put in the right place and have NuPIC available. Does that sound sane to everyone?
I think my only concern is I don't think that bdist works for the pip installing, right?
It does. So if you were to run bdist, it'll produce a tarball.gc. And if you just have that tarball, you call pip install path to tarball.
I mean, for like a third-party person, they couldn't just do pip install NuPIC and do that. They have to download the tarball.
Right.
Yeah, that would be sort of the next steps. But I think this is a step on that path in the right direction, right?
Yeah.
So once assuming that we have those packages for Linux and Darwin 64 bits up on S3 somewhere for 0.1, continuing on with the pip install NuPIC initiative would be a lot simpler, because then we just need to figure out how to either host those on PyPy, or I don't know how big they're going to be yet, but ideally we'd be able to host them on PyPy and install from there.
We can host them on S3, and pip is built in such a way that it'll go to PyPy and it'll follow links. So if we have a link on the PyPy description that points to the S3 download, it'll work.
Great.
I just don't know how to make that part of it automated where you can update the
We'll have to figure that out.
description.
We'll have to figure it out, and we'll see how big the package is. I can't remember what the limit was, 50 megs or something, I thought. Yeah. Okay, so let me share our roadmap real quick, because I want to show you where, so I've had some misconceptions about this. Back to here. So the main ticket for releasing is this big mega super ticket. And just in the past week, I've been working with David Ragazzi, who I thought we were working towards this whole release thing, but I think we may be doing more work than we need to just to get a binary release. So some of the background on this is David has been working on removing CMake from the NuPIC build, and you can see these tickets here, like move from CMake to setup tools for building and preparation for distribution. So we can get all the CMake stuff out of NuPIC there, so it will only be a NuPIC core. and this works well since we've already really isolated NuPIC core and we've got its binaries and we're downloading them when we need to. So that the NuPIC build instructions and dependencies and everything will be completely defined within setup tools and the standard setup tools packaging format. More moving towards a standard Python packaging and structure definition. So I assumed that was necessary to get to the point where we could do Python setup.py bdist, but Austin's informed me that we don't need to go to that length, so we could move a lot of these tasks to 0.2 milestone. Not that they don't necessarily need to be done, it's good cleanup, but we could package binaries without going through all these tasks. And since it looks like these are pretty extensive initiatives, some of them are still under discussion about how and if they need to be done. I don't want to block the release based on these initiatives that really need to have approval from everyone involved and really be approved properly. So what I'd like to discuss is what can we move down to 0.2? What is the bare minimum tasks that need to be accomplished to get a binary distribution out of a simple command from the command line? So my big question is, how do we do that if we still have a CMake build, assuming we haven't done any of this extraction from CMake into setup tools, and we just have CMake the way it is right now today on master? What's the minimum amount of work that it's going to take to get to binary distributions?
So there's two issues. So bdist alone, I just did a little bit of experimentation before coming in here. If you do bdist alone, there's a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you did bdist_wheel,
mm-hmm.
that will produce a wheel file. You can pip install that wheel file, and it'll be platform specific and binary. So bare minimum is today you can check out master and run python setup.py bdist, bdist_wheel, and that'll produce a binary release.
Okay.
That can be reinstalled. It assumes that the user has wheel installed.
Right.
And pip, like a modern version of pip. But in order to get bdist working also, I think that's just a matter of tweaking setup.py, and it's just an implementation detail. It's not something that's fundamental to our approach,
mm-hmm.
and it's not something that I think it isn't working because we're using CMake. It isn't working because we have the setup configured. So the only difference between the two is one will produce a tarball, and the other one will produce a dot wheel. Mm-hmm. And they're both binary releases, and as far as I can tell, there's nothing holding us back with our current approach for making both of those work.
Assuming, so users would have to have wheel installed to do it.
If they want the wheel.
If they want to use that wheel binary.
Yeah.
Right. If they want to install with that. And I guess I'm assuming that wheel has some other magic under the covers that makes this easier for us.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So that would be our fastest option.
Yeah, it's a zip file with some additional metadata in it. Technically speaking, you could just unzip it and copy it to the right place.
Right.
Even if you don't have wheel installed.
So I'm curious, and maybe this isn't a discussion for right now, but I'm curious what's in that versus what you get when you just bdist.
Yeah, so that's what we need to do. I tried it, for whatever reason, bdist didn't work. I didn't look too deeply into it, mm-hmm. But I think it's just an implementation detail to make it work.
Well, it didn't work, meaning it did create the package, right? No? Because I am creating packages and uploading them on every build to S3.
With bdist? With
bdist, but there's some caveats, I think. I can't remember.
Are you doing bdist or bdist dumb?
bdist. I'll have to look into it. I'll make a note to look into what it's doing.
You guys are gonna figure this out?
Yeah, honestly, I really do feel like it's just an implementation detail of how our setup.py
Well,
written.
here's what I'm confused about, because right now, like I said, and maybe we should take a quick look at this. It's not going to hurt. Let me go back to my screen here. And so, wait, what I want is, too many windows open, I'm sorry. Let's just share the whole entire desktop there. So that's why I like to do that. Okay. NuPIC, I'm in master. And so in our Travis file, whoops, this is not NuPIC, there we go. In the Travis file, we've got the very end, the deploy, okay? So we're just zipping up the dist folder, and there's a before deploy, which calls the script, okay? Before deploy Linux. And that's all it's doing. It's running Python setup bdist. So if I were here and I run Python setup bdist, I think I built recently, yeah, this has worked for me for quite a while. And then that creates the dist folder, which has an egg and this is a tarball that I'm uploading, I believe.
Yeah.
But this,
So can someone else take these and easily install them on their system?
Theoretically.
yeah, but not easily, not quite easily, because there's some weird stuff that's going on in the setup file that makes this work. So that I threw in there a while back. So this is me commenting on this. So the package data especially, so you can see the CMake lists is included in this package as a data file, and I don't think it should be, but that's because the build process has a CMake step, which is not done as a part of bdist. That's what it seems like. I had to let me go back to another repo, NuPIC regression, and this Travis file fetches that binary file. It has to clone NuPIC 64. This is all the steps I had to do in addition to that binary file. Activate it, untar it from root because that thing tars it in that fashion. Make sure that the Python path is updated, and then, oh yeah, that's it. So I think that CMake thing I had to put it in there for some reason, and I don't remember why. I think it might have been just a check that was checking to see if it existed. But so there's some extra steps that need to be taken currently to make that work. But maybe it's as easy as that if we that's why I thought, oh, we got to get the CMake stuff out, because it was a complication in doing this bdist thing when I did this, I don't know, 6 months ago.
Well, open up the tarball.
How about we, three of us, and whoever else wants to keep looking into this at the end of this? I don't know if we need such a big audience.
Sure, that's fine. I don't necessarily have a lot more to talk about. This is the thing that I'm focused on.
Then if you're not interested in that, you don't have to.
Well, yeah. So I mean, just so we know what we're talking about here, and for anyone who's watching,
Sure.
I would say open up
Let's
this
see.
tarball so we can just look at what's in there. It should just look like a familiar NuPIC tree.
Just gonna do it the cheap and easy way here.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so it's not.
Yeah, so this is from root.
Yeah.
Everything from root. Oops. Thanks, Mac. Got the egg info, and then here's the source. Source and compiled stuff. The system level things, this has, I think, the data files. Yeah, this is where the data, package data goes. And all the sources here.
Yeah, so I don't think that that's the right approach for producing the binary to these.
There are definitely options to create different file structures, or say relative to this directory, and that's probably a better way to do it, because this is very specific for this system, and you can't assume people want to put it here, right? So this is just the quick and dirty way that I ended up doing it. So I seem to remember other options in for bdist where you could send it like a whatever directory, relative directory or something when you're creating that package. So maybe that's something to investigate. BDIS options for directory of. Other than that, let's see.
Because I do know internally for our stuff, the wheel command works.
Oh, you've done that.
Yeah, and I know it works because I went through the process of making it work in our pipelines and have made the official recommendation. So this is how you need to do it.
Okay.
And there's 2 commands that you can run, and it includes the dependencies and the one itself.
What do you mean the dependency in the one itself?
I'll have to pull up the recommendation that I made, but basically you can generate the wheels for the dependencies.
Oh, so that means we can package all our dependencies along with us?
If you wanted to.
I sort of think that's the direction to go.
Yeah.
I mean, if we want this to be truly easily installable and transportable.
But yeah, basically you would call one command, and it would go in and generate all the wheels for the dependencies, including the wheel for itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can install the wheel and then point it to the location of those other wheels
All right.
for the dependencies, and it would install those as well.
This
is good for like our internal thing, but I think most external users are just gonna wanna get installed NuPIC.
Wow. So this is interesting. Let me share this real
The
quick.
binary stuff isn't gonna work.
Well, 0.1 is binary release.
Yeah.
So
Pip install is 0.2. So I'm just pressing for a binary release at this point, so we can get something that someone doesn't have to go through any of this build process
That
to
work is
do.
what I thought.
True. But if we're going to meet this somewhat arbitrary milestone of December 31st to get this done, I'm fairly confident we could do it with wheels. If it's as easy as Austin is saying it is. Maybe that's the way to go, just so we can at least reach the milestone of having some form of release. And if it's accessible it's going to be more accessible than it is now if users have wheels.
When you say it's orthogonal, does that mean there's a lot of work that would go into it that we'd have to throw away?
No, I don't think so. I
0.2
mean,
or-
if we make it available over wheels, it'll always be available over wheels, right? We'll keep supporting that. So that I don't think it's throwaway work. It's just it's a shortcut, and then we're still going to have to do the long road eventually. But I mean,
But then you have
either
to
way
make
would-
2 different ways of doing it.
well,
Yeah.
so wheels are,
I haven't heard of it before.
I know, but it's the new official
It's the new
It's the
thing.
new
way to
hotness.
distribute
Looks pretty
Python
great.
packages.
and I've been keeping track of this, and this has gone up since last week.
What is that?
This is
So
the
it
number of
replaces eggs,
standard
for
packages.
example.
Okay.
So it looks like they're keeping track of all of the most popular
Right.
Python libraries and which ones are supported.
By
And
wheels.
this isn't to say that they aren't compatible with wheels. These are the ones that are publishing wheels.
Right. So we could do this, and I mean, it does seem like this is a direction people are going, and it's easier. So I wouldn't be against shooting for a binary release via wheel and saying, hey, we hit our milestone, and then continuing this work in 0.2. And 0.2 being pip install NuPIC is the big milestone there.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is actually that we hit the milestone rather than what the milestone actually is. It may seem a little weird, but
Well,
I think
it's nice to hit a milestone.
it is
sometimes.
nice to hit a milestone. I think we've already done a lot of stuff for this milestone. This is not NuPIC 1.0, this is 0.1. So everyone knows it's not the be all and end all of things.
Right.
I think we've established a versioning numbering scheme of a lot of the process. We've done other work, algorithm work, serialization work, a lot of stuff has gone in. And I think it's also important for the community to see frequent, regular releases.
Right.
It almost doesn't matter what it is, but if someone new comes in say February or March and they see, a monthly release that's there, that's, oh, this is a active, well-supported project. That's the impression. And I think that's almost as important as what that actual number is.
And once we get into the swing of things.
Yeah, and it's not that any of these goals are bad, or I think getting a regular release. So I would say, December 31st, regardless of what it is, we just declare 0.1 because we've already done a good chunk of the work.
I'm gonna lean heavily, I think, to doing the fastest binary release option that we can. Then,
Yeah,
then at least we can say yes, we do have a binary release option. And we can update the README and say here's how to do it, and then move on with some of the more the harder work that's coming.
As long as you're not doing a lot of wasted work just to get to
I don't think it's wasted work.
That was my question before. If it's not wasted, then heck,
It's not wasted because I think we have everything we need in order to do wheel releases right now. Like doing nothing. I can go back to my desk and I can produce a wheel.
Well, that's a good argument for it.
It is.
So, and that was why I brought it up, because I know the stuff that David's doing, it's great work, and it's a noble cause, but I don't know that we need to hold up a release on it.
Yeah, and if it's a big thing like that, maybe even it's not even 0.2, maybe it's 0.3 that we get those big chunks done.
I'm fine being flexible. The point is having those milestones in the road behind us, especially. So
exactly, and make it bite-sized, easy to do.
Yeah.
This is nowhere near 1.0.
I'm looking forward to when some user has a problem on the mailing list and say, what version of NuPIC are you using?
Right.
And then see exactly what their code looks like. Instead it's like, do git log dash whatever and tell me what SHA you're on. So, okay. Then that makes me happy. I think that we should be able to actually hit our milestone then if we limit this, and I will go back through the roadmap, and I think most of those issues that you and I and David have been talking about are valid issues. Some of them need more discussion and vetting, but we'll get through that. But I'll probably move them down. I will move them down to 0.2 milestone, and we can continue discussion with them there. And clean up 0.3, make sure totally focused on getting this binary wheels distribution out, so we can wrap this up before everybody goes to vacation.
Maybe another thing is before you put something in, even for 0.2, maybe the one criteria is that a lot of the discussion has finished, so that we know it's all about implementation and hitting the milestone.
I don't understand.
So let's say we say 0.2 is January 31st, whatever.
Okay.
Another arbitrary date, and gets to January 15, we're still having all sorts of discussions about should we or should we not do this. Well, then, we have a choice of take it out of 0.2 or slip 0.2.
Right.
So I think maybe one criteria for really crystallizing features for the next release might be that discussion is finished around it.
Okay. Yeah, so, that makes sense.
So where at least discussion happens, 2 releases before it's actually.
And I think each milestone should have kind of a major theme or a major initiative. Like this one is binary releases. 0.2 could either be, the move from CMake to setup tools, or more a pure Python packaged sort of feeling, or a pip install NuPIC, or maybe that goes to 0.3. As long as there's a major initiative behind each one that gives the user base something. Then,
it could be serialization is in good shape.
Right.
It could be some algorithm.
Right. There's more than enough new kind of features and things coming down the line we want to do that we just need to arrange them and prioritize them properly. Okay. So great. So this is a discussion I wanted to have. In lieu of doing our standard PR review and everything, I think this was more important this time, especially with the end of the year coming up. So that's what we're going to do. We'll focus on getting a binary distribution with wheel. Then I can do the binary upload stuff and update the documentation and test out the different platforms and make sure everything works and have some time to do that. And then we'll move off the BDist stuff, the CMake to Python stuff into 0.2 with still the eventual goal of pip install NuPIC that will either be in 0.2 or 0.3. Okay. Sounds good to me. Thank you very much. That was it. All right. Any community feedback, you can email us on the mailing list and we will discuss there. Take care.